Are you looking to edit your videos on Premiere Pro, but you don't know where to start? Don't worry, in this step-by-step mini course, I'm going to walk you through my video editing workflow that I use to edit a travel video shot with a GoPro, a DSLR, and a drone. From importing the footage into a computer up until exporting and sharing the final edit. Hey, I'm Andy, filmmaker and creator of Project GoPro, my online video making school specialized on helping people make better videos using action cameras like GoPro. So if you're still struggling to edit your videos and you still can't seem to get it right, I totally understand it. I've been there too, trust me. That's why I tried my best to make this mini course to the point through my 7-step editing workflow. In this condensed version of the course, you're going to learn some of my secrets for editing an awesome travel video in Premiere Pro. From preparation tips to sound design, color correction techniques, and much more. So sit back, take your time, and learn how you too can edit awesome videos. Then, if you want to access to the uncondensed version of my full video editing workflow, there is a link down below to a 3-hour course deep diving into my entire video editing workflow with Premiere Pro, where we go beyond the basics and learn all the editing tricks I use to make my edits even more engaging in less time. Plus, you'll get all the sample footage and editing assets used during the course so you can practice every step along with me. But now, without any further ado, let's get started. Organize content for editing. Okay, now, so the very first step after shooting is, when you come back home, you want to reorganize your files before you start the editing. This part is very important because it saves you time later on during the editing process. To do that, you just need to, get the SD cards from your cameras and plug them into your computer or MacBook, or if you have an adapter, you can use the adapter that connects to your MacBook, or you can even connect your cameras to your MacBook and download all of your files to your computer. Okay, so now let's jump right into my MacBook, and I'm gonna share the screen with you guys so you can see. So the first step is to download your files into your computer, but not to a random folder. That's why I always suggest to organize your files, in a nice organized way, so that later on you don't have any problem to find your clips and to do a fast editing. This is key, remember. So here we've got our SD card. These are GoPro clips coming from my camera, and I renamed them like this in order to have them even more organized. So all you need to do is to copy Ctrl+C, or by going here, copy 40 items, that's the number of clips I've got, into your MacBook. So, but we don't want to do it randomly, so what we do is find somewhere in your computer, on your MacBook, or even on an external hard drive where you want to keep all of your project files or all of your editings. So in this case, I'm going to use my external hard drive and create a new folder called, let's say, video making. So then inside video making, we want to keep all of our event folders. For this, I would create my event folder. I will number it so then, you can sort them by chronological way. That's even more organized in this way. So I would also number them. In this case, I put 01 and backpacking through the Philippines. This is my event folder. That's how I want to call even my video project files. That's also how I want to call my video. So after this folder, you go in and you create another folder, and actually another 3 folders called unedited. This is where we're gonna put all of our content, unedited content, so like copy it from your SD cards. And then number 2, we've got editing. That's where we're gonna put all our editing files, including the Final Cut Pro files, and then last one will be export. Our exported video will go here. So inside unedited, we can create different folders to organize. If you have different cameras, video clips coming from different cameras, I would suggest you to sort them by camera. So in this case, I will create GoPro. Then I've got, I don't know, Sony, my Sony camera, and then my iPhone. Number 3, whoops. And then I would have my drone, for example. If you only have one camera, then you don't need to sort them, obviously. You can just put all of your footages in unedited. So after that, let's get into these folders. So in here, then I would copy and download my video files from the cameras, like so. So we select them all and then copy them, Command C. We go back here and then paste them, Command V. Okay, after doing that, you might want to rename all of your clips like I've done here. To do that, you select them all. So Command A to select them all, right click, rename all of them at once. So you have different options here to rename them. You can rename them, you can replace text, add text, or format. I like the format one because you can rename all of them at once and put a number after the name. So in this case, I renamed them GoPro clip, and then underscore, and then start numbers from 1. So in this way, that your Mac will rename all of them, and it's easy in this way to find them even later in the editing process within Final Cut Pro. So then we go ahead and download all of our files inside these folders. After doing that, you would like to go into editing and create another folder called 01 Final Cut Pro X files. This is where you're gonna save your project files from the video editor. And then after that, in this folder, I would create different folders where we want to put all our extra content like music, transitions, titles, or anything that you're gonna use inside your edit. So for example, here we can create a folder called soundtracks, and then transitions, or titles, etc. Import and preparation. Now the next step is to import and prepare our footage, our video clips and the soundtracks, to then put them together into the editor to then edit our video. But now, because we've got a limited time in this video, now I assume that you already know how the Premiere Pro, the video editor interface works, where you can find the basic tools, how to cut and trim. I assume that you already know all of this, so I'm skipping all of that part. However, I cover all of that, all of the basics, as well as the advanced part of how to edit in Premiere Pro. I cover all of this in the full video editing course that you find the link down in the description. So go check it out if you want to learn more. Right now, basically, I just opened up Adobe Premiere Pro. The next thing to do is to basically create a new project. Let's call it backpacking through the Philippines. In this project, I'm gonna edit a quick video, different clips that I shot during my trip in the Philippines while I was exploring different islands. I'm gonna choose my location where I want to save these files. So under editing, Premiere Pro files, choose this folder, and that's gonna go into that. Here we leave it as it is by default, press OK, and now we're almost ready to to edit. This is how Premiere Pro looks when you open it. So we've got on the top different tabs where you can get into different editing sections. So the main one where we're gonna focus today is editing, a little bit of color, a little bit of the effects, audio very quickly. Let's go back to editing. We want to import our video files and soundtracks. So to import the video files and soundtracks, let's go and find them. So they should be inside this folder that we created before, unedited. That's where you should organize the folder, and that's where we are going to find all of the media that we want to import here. So this was an example. Actually, the folders are either empty or the files inside are not the right ones that I'm gonna use for this edit. So let me go and get the right files. Alright, so we got the video course project files here, which is mainly the medias that we want to use for this edit. So we see that we got GoPro clips, some drone clips, Sony clips, and a time lapse. So now let's just import all of these folders which contain our media by just like selecting them all and dragging them in here. Alright, so now they are here, they've been imported right here. The next step would be to actually create a sequence, which is basically when you create a sequence, you enable the timeline to receive your clips and your media to then make the edit. The sequence preset, you have to select the resolution settings of your timeline. I usually select HDV, this is Full HD 1080p at 30 fps, so that's okay for me. I'm gonna rename my sequence, so backpacking through the Philippines, just the initials, and I'm gonna call it 001 because this is the first version. So we've got a sequence. So remember, you must have a sequence. You need to create a sequence in order to then work with your clips into the timeline. So here you got the sequence, here you got your media. Now the next step is actually importing all of this media inside the timeline. Build the story. A story basically needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So in the beginning, it's usually where you want to show establishing shots. So you want to show what the surroundings, what you got around you. You want to introduce the characters that are going then to play, in your movie or in your video. So you start to show that to then, start the story slowly to build up towards the climax, which is the most interesting part. It should be the most interesting part of your video. So for example, in this case, I'm editing a video of my travels that I did back to the Philippines. So my introduction would actually be, I want to show like me, that I'm leaving my country, that I'm starting my travels. So I'm going to show the airplane, I'm going to show when I arrived there, when I land, the first people that I meet, what I see around me, to then build up slowly towards the climax, which is like where things happen, like exciting stuff. And it's actually where I do activities, because I went to the Philippines and I started to do all of these activities in the beautiful waters of the Philippine Sea, island hopping with a boat. So I want to show all of that. That's my climax. And then after the climax, it goes down again to then conclude the story. And now let's go and see in practice in Premiere Pro how this is done. How do we put clips, trim them, cut them, and fit them into our timeline, and match the videos with the audio, so that we have a background audio as well that goes with the video in a nice way and complements the video, the visuals. Remember that audio plays a really important role in video making. For this reason, I suggest you to choose your soundtrack before even to start the editing process, and also import the soundtrack to the timeline before importing the video clips. By doing so, you'll have more control on your editing files, and it would be way faster for you to edit your video clips on the music beats. Yeah, that's what you want to try and achieve. Editing the video clips on the music beats by first selecting your audio, putting it into the timeline, identifying where all of these beats are on the music, mark them, and then position the video clips on top of the music. So here we want to add our music, our soundtracks that I haven't done yet. So let's go here. We see music. I should have my soundtrack, which is called Hariko. I got this from the YouTube audio library that is free. So to add this song into our edit, just drag it and drop it here. Now, this is our timeline, right? We have different levels where we can position clips, and the audio will go under here, under this main line. You see all of these pins, these are markers that I put before. I put them where I want my clips to change. I did this job before because it takes a little while. So I mean, this is quite easy to do. You just want to import your soundtrack, then start to listen to it, and then put a marker with letter M on your keyboard. Let's zoom in here so I can show you that if I select your audio track, and then when you press M, you see this is has created a little mark. So then we use this as a point of reference, you know, where a clip should end or should start. Let's remove this and use the ones that I put before. So yeah, basically you listen to it, and then when you hear the beats, you press M. Let me show you this, how to do it. You see, that is already dun, 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 dun. You see, on the click, you can press the M on the clicks. That's the music beat. That's where you want to start or end a clip. It doesn't have to happen on every click, otherwise it would become, you know, boring in a way. So now the next step would be to go in and get our clips. I'm gonna start with the Sony clips because those are the ones that I selected to be at the beginning. So we want to add them onto the timeline, so let's select them and drag them here. I want them to be in chronological order, so now we just need to move them where I want them to be. And I want to move all of these clips inside my slots and then adjust them or edit them to fit them inside all of these slots. So I'm gonna start with my Sony clip number 1, which happens to be here. So I want to move this just up here. But we can see that this is not possible. Why? Because this clip has audio incorporated. So we want to detach the audio in order to put the video on top of our music, and then we can do the same. We can also move the audio separately. Alright, so to unlink or detach the audio, we just select the clip, we go to clip and hit unlink or Command L. In this way, you'll see your video will be detached from the audio, it's not linked anymore. So unless we need this audio track, we keep it, otherwise we can delete it because I don't need it. So I'm just going to do the same with all of them so that I can position them on top of my music, and go to clip and link from the audio. So we got all of these different videos separated from the audio. So then what we want to do is to trim this clip to fit it within the space. Alright, so that's it for number 1. Let's go to number 2. Do we need the audio here? Let's see. we don't. So I'm gonna delete that and then, you know, do the same job that I've done before with the other clips. So this is just I want to position it inside here. I just need a little slice of this. So I'm gonna edit it, trim it in this way and put it next to it. Now let's have a look. Let's go and pick up the clip number 3. This is clip number 3. So here I want to show just the beep, which is just like 1 or 2 seconds of beep. So what I do is go here, cut this part, get the razor tool to cut it, press and hold shift, so I cut everything here, what's under it as well. So, and then select this one, cancel it, and just, now we got our clip cut. I'm gonna move, oops, the video into the slot and the audio just under here. Actually, what it's more convenient for me to do is to move my music under and then have the voiceover just on the first, on this first one. So in this way, now I can trim my video and my audio to end it on the music beat here. So let's review it. Okay, all right, let's find number 4, move it here. So on this clip I really like all of it. I like to keep the whole sequence as it is, but I need to fit it within the space. So how do I do this? I need to speed it up. To speed it up, right click on the clip, go on speed and duration, and then just insert, let's say 300%, maybe 350. Let's put 350. All right, we're almost there. We can maybe cut a little bit of the beginning. Let's see how it appears. Okay, we can cut a little bit of the end. Tack. We like that, and now let's move forward. So on the clip number 5. Right here I forgot to trim the audio, so just trimmed it. Cool, let's bring this back. I can cut this clip, but just keep the most interesting part, which is, you know, the middle part. So we can cut it here. Okay, so we want to start a bit later, I guess, and show just the key points. So, okay, here, then there is the captain that is talking underneath. So I would like to keep that. So we can extend the audio where there is a voiceover. This audio I can delete it because we don't need it. We do need this one because there is a beep. Cool. All right, then 6, 7, 8, and 9. You see, when you number them in chronological order, it's pretty easy to identify them and to say, okay, this needs to go here and this needs to go after that. You know, it's pretty simple in this way. Maybe before it's a little more time consuming, but trust me, when you're in the editor, you don't want to mess around with like clips and stuff because it's just gonna become complicated. So here we have, you know, clip number 6 that we know that we need to make it shorter to then fit it within the next 2 markers. I think we don't need the audio of this clip. What's this one? Okay, here. So I just want to keep the last part. I'm gonna, okay, trim it a little bit
join it, and then probably trim the end to end it on the next beat here. So let's have a look. Oh. Okay, perfect. We don't need the audio, so I'm gonna delete this part. Clip number 8. I show that I'm eating in the plane, so just a little b-roll. We need to fit this within these 2 points, so let's see if that works. Kinda. Just want to show it quicker, so let's do it like that. Cool. Now the next one is me that I'm eating. What a stupid face. So even this one needs to be quite fast. So let's see. Okay, here I want to start already. Maybe this marker is not in the right position, so here I want to start. I want to make this even shorter. Alright, and then end this clip on the click, on this beat here. Alright, you see? That looks and sounds good. Remember to put this back at the start, so it starts from 0. And now I'm gonna continue with building my story. I'm gonna import all of my Sony clips and drone clips, build the story, fit all of the clips, trim them, edit them, and put them within these spaces. Alright, so after selecting, trimming, cutting and adjusting the clips and join them together, we should have a situation similar to this one in my timeline. So the video clips should be here, then we should have the background music just here with our markers where we start and finish our clips. You should also have the voiceovers, which are here on the second line of the audio. So let's see, this is the whole video that I built, my storyline. Alright, it's quite slow because I'm at the same time my computer, my MacBook is doing too many things at the same time. It's recording the video, I'm editing, etc, etc. So again, if you struggle to follow up and need yet to master the basics as well as, you know, the more advanced techniques to create an effective story with the help of slow motion effects and other cool things that you can do in Premiere Pro, you can find all of this stuff in the full video editing course with Premiere Pro that you find down below. Go and check it out if you want to learn more.
Sound design.
As I mentioned before, sound design plays a really important role in video editing, and I think that in video making, sound design, it's actually 50%, and the other 50 it's videos, editing videos. Imagine watching a movie without sound, you know, it would be completely different, you know. It wouldn't convey all of the emotions and information that it can actually convey with the help of sound. When I talk about sound design, I don't only mean that you need to put a simple background music in your editing, but I also mean, you know, all of those sound effects that you can add to improve your overall editing. Sound effects, you know, they are quite underestimated, especially by, you know, newbies, but you know, they do a lot. Imagine, like, watch a movie without any sound and then watch the same movie with sound effects, voiceover, background music, and you know, it's completely different. It's way better. So on this point, unfortunately I cannot cover the whole sound design module, but I can give you little tips that you can use to improve your videos. If you want to find more information, check out the full course, and where I cover also sound design over there, how to put transitions on the sound, how to put sound effects, sound transitions, and voiceover and much more. On this one, what we could do in this moment, in this simple edit, we can just make sure that audio, go to audio here, click on the tab. Now you want to make sure, the first thing I would check is to make sure that the audio, the volume of the audio is not too high, because oftentimes what happens is that the audio is really high, the volume is really high, and it's actually above the 0 decibel level, which doesn't have to go over. So if that's the case, you wanna just decrease the volume of the sound by a little bit. Let's have a look how to do it. You see these two bars. If you go to audio, you'll see the audio clip mixer for this sequence. And here you can see actually how many decibels the audio goes up to. It's on the edge, I would say. It doesn't have to go above 0. If you want to decrease the volume, you just like drag this bar down or up. You see, if it's too high, the audio would go to the red part, and you don't want that. Actually, Premiere Pro recognizes that, and it keeps the audio level balanced. So to increase or decrease the volume of the soundtrack, just select the soundtrack that you want to edit, and then just go over here on audio, and you can move this bar to then choose how many decibels you want the volume of this soundtrack to be. Try to have them consistent, not to go up too much up and not to have too much down. So that's what you can do. What I suggest you to do also is to lower down the volume of your background music on the parts where you have got voiceover. For example, let me show you this part.
You'll be our tour guide today.
Here you see the sound, the main soundtrack, so the music. I lowered the sound of this track because I had this guy talking.
Nice.
Watch here. Now it's gonna go up again. You see? Because then the action starts again, and again we want to increase the volume to emphasize the actions. Alright, so that's audio. That's how you adjust audio levels. Alright, so after adjusting audio levels, we want to, the next step will be
Color correct your videos.
color correction, not color grading at this point, because color grading, it's quite complex, I would say, and it takes time and skills. I actually teach that inside my full video editing course, but in this video we want to keep it short and concise. So I'm gonna show you how to edit not the colors, but actually the exposure of your videos, if they're overexposed or if they're underexposed. I show you how to balance the exposure as well as saturation, so to bring more color, more vivid colors to your frame, to your videos, and that's quite simple and fast. So to do that, you go to colors, select the clip you would like to change colors, and then here on this lumetri color you can change the exposure, contrast, highlights, shadow, whites, blacks, and much more. You can also change the temperature. If say this is too cold or too warm, you can balance it like so. So I'm gonna keep it to 0 because I think this it's already looking good. Here I can see a little bit it's overexposed, it's too white, as you can see here, because the light was too strong. So we want to bring the highlights a little bit down and see what happens. So let's go to highlights here and drag this down, and we can get back some of the colors, not so much, but just some of it. Maybe we can put exposure down a little bit. That's it. That's already looking better. And the whites, just by a little. Change temperature, it was too warm. Now I want to bring up the cold tones. With the saturation, you can see that you're going to saturate the colors like so. You will give basically more power to these colors. If you go to the left hand side, then they will look more undersaturated, so towards the black and white. But we like as it was, so I'm gonna stay at 100.
Titles and transitions.
The last step would actually be to add any titles or any transitions or anything to complement our editing. We don't want to add too much, otherwise, instead of making it better, you make it worse. So like you just want to add a few transitions between the clips that need a transition, as well as adding a few titles at the beginning, maybe to introduce your story, and maybe at the end or where is needed. So you can add titles in Premiere Pro by just click on graphics, and here there should be some pre-installed or default graphics, default titles that Premiere Pro already has and you can use. Otherwise you can download from the internet, anywhere from the internet you can download titles, transitions, graphics, and you can find so much stuff to use within your video editing software. Alright, so let's try to add a title here at the beginning of our edit, because I actually want to show the title of this video right here where there is nothing, there is a black gap. So let's take a title, maybe this one, bold title, drag it here. And then you see it's quite simple to edit the title. So I'm gonna put backpacking through the Philippines. Let's adjust the sides a little bit. Backpacking through the Philippines. We can change the font if we want to. I'm gonna select a simple Arial black. Backpacking through the Philippines. Let's do it a little smaller. Okay, cool. So that's our title in here. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, episode, we can put episode 1, episode 2, whatever. This case, I'll just delete it. You can put any other title. This is not a great title actually, but I'm sure you can do better. Don't overuse these editing assets. They are very cool when they are used wisely, so not too much. If they use them well, especially also transitions, you can turn a boring video into a cinematic video by just doing these little tweaks, adding titles, make the visuals better.
Export and share.
Before exporting your final video, it's a good practice to review it a couple of times, to show it maybe to a friend or to anybody, and get some feedback. Through feedback you can always learn and improve the next time. Review and polish your video, go through every single thing, see if colors match, see if the audio levels are right. If not, adjust them, polish it, And then the final step will be to actually go and export your video. So how do you export your video within Final Cut Pro? It's pretty simple. Let's go to File, Export Media, and this window will open up. So now here you can see the export settings. I always choose H.264. It's also the same format that these clips were shot. Match source, so like, yeah, high bitrate, match source, high bitrate should do the job. And then export audio, export video, check both of them. Output name, click here and rename your exported project. So that would be backpacking through the Philippines. All right, so where am I going to put this video? I'm gonna go to my folders that I created before and finally open up the export folder and save it here. Once you're ready, then hit on export and wait for it to finish. Cool, so that is how you edit a video in Final Cut Pro. Now, if you want to become a pro in video editing and learn more advanced editing technique like removing audio noise, removing video noise of footage shot indoors or in low light, or add a letterbox effect to make your videos even more cinematic, or learn how to make a time lapses, cool time lapses within Premiere Pro from your stills, and other cool stuff like that, then click on the button below and join my full video editing course with Premiere Pro.
And that was my 7-step editing workflow with Adobe Premiere Pro. I really hope that you found it useful, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Stay healthy, keep creating, and I hope to see you soon inside our training program. Ciao!